The heavyweight division feels like a powder keg tonight, and Tom Aspinall is the man holding the match. He's fresh off telling the world he will never risk his interim belt again, and will only trade leather when the undisputed crown is on the table. That bold refusal was supposed to be the final note, yet it has triggered a ripple that stretches from Dana White's office to the training mats of Ilia Topuria. Fans are furious, pundits are split, and Aspinall himself is almost amused by the uproar, quietly posting clips that stoke curiosity without offering a single concrete date. But why does an interim champion's simple no feel so seismic? Because it shines a spotlight on every fracture in the division. Jon Jones's injury hiatus, a swelling petition to strip the champ, and the parade of contenders jockeying for relevance. Aspinall's stance turns what should be a stopgap title into a ransom note, and everyone from Jones to Dana is forced to react. Yet behind that lone declaration is a web of stories, some playful, others venomous, that explain exactly how we arrived at this impasse and where the next punch may land.
Jon Jones wants 6 months. He wants 6 months to prepare for Aspinall. He wants 6 months. He can have them. How would I control it? How would anybody control it? Jon has the undisputed belt and that Tom has the interim belt. We all understand that these guys are going to fight now that we...
Before Aspinall dropped his ultimatum, Jon Jones spent an idle evening on Instagram picking teammates for a playful, dirty boxing dream team. The game was simple. Build a 3-man squad for $10 imaginary dollars. Jones could have blown the budget on marquee names, yet he surprised everyone by spending big on human highlight reel Yoel Romero and lethal kickboxer Alex Pereira, then scooping up Aspinall for a bargain $2. The comment section erupted. Was this an olive branch toward a potential challenger, or a way to keep the up-and-comer parked safely on his side of the bracket? Conor McGregor crashed the thread, joking that he would simply buy himself and keep the change, and the banter spiraled into memes within minutes. Jones' casual nod to Aspinall did more than entertain. It legitimized the Brit as part of the champion's personal wish list. Yet there was an invisible asterisk. Picking a teammate costs nothing, signing a bout agreement costs your win streak, your aura, and maybe your consciousness. The board game charm belied a quiet tension, and that tension would surface in far harsher words from a familiar analyst.
I think I got to about 14, 15, and we started training at a few different MMA gyms. And I started realizing people are actually not going into work. This is the job. This is what they're doing to get money, and not actually going to a building site like where I'm from. People.
Daniel Cormier can't resist poking holes in Jones's carefully curated persona, and on a recent podcast he did so with a surgeon's precision. DC argued that Jones's hesitation to fight Aspinall boils down to optics, not legacy. Aspinall's speed means a single mistimed step could leave the all-time great staring at arena lights, replayed endlessly on social feeds. Cormier knows that humiliation firsthand, admitting that seeing himself unconscious on television still stings years later. For a champion who guards his mythos as jealously as Jones, the visual of being flatlined by a younger, friendlier face might be a career-long scar. Cormier's words weren't mere speculation. They were fuel. Fans clipped the soundbite, overlaid slow-motion knockouts, and lab-tested the idea that Jones's legacy instincts now outweigh his competitive ones. The insinuation, greatness can endure a broken toe, a torn pec, even a failed test, but a memeable knockout by Tom Aspinall, that might be the one thing an undefeated narrative cannot absorb, setting the table for outrage that would soon reach petition-level momentum.
If I'm being completely honest, I feel like Tom's been such an asshole that I don't want to do business with him. You know, it's just his fans have been so annoying. And obviously you don't get this far in a career being affected by fans or whatnot, but he's just...
That outrage found form in a digital signature sheet that spread like wildfire. Strip Jon Jones of the heavyweight title. It began as a fringe protest murmured on forums, then rocketed past the 100,000 signature mark, propelled by every injury report and delay. Ben Askren teased that Cormier himself must have signed, and while DC laughed off the accusation, the wider fan base wasn't joking. Every new name on that list is a tiny vote of no confidence, a public rebuke of stalled championship cycles. Each day the counter climbs, pressure mounts on the UFC to either book Jones in stone or move on. The petition's sheer volume places Aspinall's refusal in a new light. If the undisputed belt becomes vacant, or if the champion is stripped, Tom's stance looks less like diva behavior and more like clairvoyance. He isn't guarding the interim strap, he's positioning himself for the only title fans now deem legitimate: The louder that petition grows, the clearer it becomes that headlines are drafting real-world consequences. While the heavyweight drama escalated, the sport itself marched on, issuing fight announcements faster than a ring bell. Kevin Lee inked a surprise deal with the PFL, jumping straight into a lightweight tournament semifinal on short notice. Proof that one injury rehab's delay is another hungry athlete's opening. Chris Curtis versus Max Griffin was penciled for a July return to Nashville, each desperate to reverse back-to-back losses and dodge roster purgatory. Meanwhile, rookie fighters learned they'll sport debut patches stitched onto walkout gear, tokens destined for one-of-one trading cards. It's clever merchandising, but also a reminder that fresh blood is always arriving. Aspinall may believe he owns the future, yet the conveyor belt never stops. Every week, a newcomer with knockout intent steps into a cage wearing that debut patch. These announcements underscore the sport's relentless churn, hinting that any champion, even an interim one, who waits too long risks being overtaken by the next wave. And fan patience wears thin when Q positions shuffle daily.
Down there, train sometimes. Great people, Fury family in general, just great people. I felt like a small-time guy. We had goddamn Tyson Fury, who was world champion at the time. I was a nobody at the time, no one knew who I was. And but they were very, very nice to me. Tyson's a great guy.
Patience is a stranger in featherweight territory as well, where rumors of Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez II triggered collective eye rolls. No voice captured the mood better than Robert Whittaker's. He candidly confessed that no one, casual viewer or hardened analyst, clamoring for that rerun so soon. Whittaker's blunt honesty reflected a wider fatigue. Dominant title holders earning immediate rematches after lopsided defeats sapped the division's oxygen. He wasn't insulting Rodriguez. He was defending meritocracy. Yair, he argued, needs time to evolve, not an expedited second shot. This broader debate loops back to Aspinall's declaration. Because divisions live or die on forward motion, fans reward champions who keep the conveyor belt alive. They revolt against stalemates. If the UFC serves up another lopsided Volkanovski sequel while heavyweight gold sits frozen, supporters may amplify their protests across weight classes, pressuring Dana White to shuffle the deck entirely, to grant Ilia Topuria, for instance, the stage he craves. Topuria, meanwhile, was 4 weeks out from a seismic showdown with Charles Oliveira, and he let cameras peek into his camp. Short, brutal mitt rounds, chain wrestling drills, and the smirk that says he relishes every ounce of pressure. Beneil Dariush, still nursing the bruise of his 2023 loss to Oliveira, warned that many are underestimating Du Bronx. Oliveira's knees, clinch tricks, and timing disrupt pure boxers, Dariush insisted, and Topuria's crisp hands could wander straight into those traps. That cautionary tale adds another layer to Aspinall's storyline: timing, risk, and the razor margins that topple hype trains. If Topuria falters while Oliveira reignites his legend, the narrative around champions, interim or not, flips instantly. Momentum is fickle. One wild night in the cage reshapes hierarchies, mutes online petitions, and births new ones. Topuria's camp footage thus serves as a living reminder that supremacy is transient, and Aspinall, though currently king of leverage, stands one fluke injury or surprise upset away from joining the queue he refuses to revisit.
Me personally, I feel very thankful from the whole energy I feel since the first day I came here to Sydney. Like, the people were very kind with all of us, so amazing.
Queue jumping is easier when your highlight reel is a library of first-round stoppages, and Aspinall appears almost casual when explaining his own. During a TikTok Q&A, he shrugged off claims of superhuman power. At 6'5" and well over 250 pounds, he noted, anyone can put you out cold with 4-ounce gloves. The trick is landing first while the other heavyweight is still loading up. He credits fast twitch muscle fibers and clean punching mechanics, attributes rarely found together in giants. That candid breakdown demystifies the carnage, yet paradoxically makes him scarier. Raw force you expect, sniper speed you do not. It feeds Cormier's knockout fear thesis and fuels the debate over why Jones delays. If the champ is fielding constant reminders of Aspinall's velocity and composure, every weigh-in photo op and sparring clip becomes mental warfare. Aspinall's humility about power reads like confidence to opponents, a subtle boast that he doesn't need nuclear bombs to ruin you, only precision and timing. And the faster he finishes foes, the louder the crowd chants for undisputed stakes.
Jon Jones is probably watching this, so send him a message.
Hello, John. I have nothing against you personally, but I just think I'm better than you. I just know that I can beat you in a fight, so I'm coming for it.
Precision was also the word Sean Strickland used after a savage sparring session with Mike Perry. Strickland posted raw, shaky footage. Him teeing off, Perry lumbering forward, eating everything, refusing to blink. Strickland confessed that Perry's willingness to die just to land one punch unnerved him more than technical brilliance ever could. Fans devoured the clip, celebrating that gladiator grit is alive outside official scorecards. In an era where negotiating positions sometimes overshadow fight footage, witnessing two ranked names test each other's chins for free felt refreshing. It highlighted what supporters crave: action over politics. And that desire becomes a lens through which Aspinall's interim stance is judged. Heroic resolve to fight only for real gold, or stubborn self-protection at the cost of entertainment. The Strickland-Perry dogfight answered nothing directly, but it reminded everyone what authenticity looks like, intensifying scrutiny on anyone whose next appearance feels conditional. Authenticity was precisely what fans expected when Aspinall teased heavyweight news coming soon, but instead they got a slick commercial unveiling his apparel partnership with Champion. The spot was cinematic: slow-motion bag work, stoic narration about sacrifice, dramatic shadows, but the timing was tone-deaf. Comment sections filled with disappointment. Supporters had braced for a signed bout with Jones. Instead, they saw new merch. Some called him a sellout. Others laughed that he had pulled a mini Jones by dangling hype with no fight in sight. Aspinall fired back on Instagram. He had never promised a matchup, and sponsorships are part of every fighter's livelihood. Yet the backlash revealed how thin the public's patience really is. Each marketing tease boils the pot hotter, pushing neutral observers toward the Strip Jones petition or toward blaming Aspinall for slow division progress. The optics of cashing in when the title picture stalls were brutal, and they served as a prelude to the declaration that would overshadow all of it. Which brings us full circle to the clip that detonated the discourse. Aspinall staring into his phone and stating firmly that he will never defend the interim title again. No offense to top 5 hopefuls, no interest in placeholder bouts. He wants the undisputed crown or nothing. On the surface, it's a simple line in the sand. Underneath, it's a calculated chess move. If Jones returns healthy, Aspinall guarantees himself the biggest payday of his life. If Jones vacates, the interim champ slides into instant upgrade without risking that golden bargaining chip. Critics argue it chokes the division. Advocates call it strategic genius. And tucked inside that stance is an unspoken dare to Dana White: solve this logjam or watch your heavyweight highlight machine sit on the sidelines. The refusal reframes every prior headline. Cormier's fear angle, the 111K signature petition, Whitaker's weariness with reruns, as symptoms of one disease: championship inertia. Whether the cure is Jones Aspinall on a stadium card, a sudden vacancy, or a surprise dark horse, one truth now pulses through every fan forum: the next heavyweight bout must carry ultimate stakes, or the revolt will grow louder than any walkout roar.